Welcome to Mount Blue Prep, the preparatory track for Mount Blue. Uh, Mount Blue is a training company, and this track helps you prepare for the coding test. And if you complete more than 2600 points on HackerRank, you can skip the coding test. You can get a live coding interview. So today we are talking about recursion and we will solve some problems on recursion. Yesterday we had just kind of introduced recursion and talked about time and space complexity. So today let's go and solve some problems. Let's Okay, so I will pick some problems from Edabit and then try to solve it in the Replit editor. So yeah, let's take a look at this problem. This is a very simple problem. Let's take a look at this and you guys can share the logic with me in the chat. What do you think the logic should be? Keep in mind that your logic should work for both the test cases, not just the first test case. So we will be using recursion to solve this problem. So make sure your logic is recursive in nature. What should be the logic? So when we are talking about recursion, there are three things that we talked about yesterday that we have to be careful about. The first one is the easiest, which is the recursive logic, but we also have to be careful about the boundary conditions and the wrong input conditions. So what is the recursive logic in this case? What are the boundary conditions? What are the wrong input conditions? Please put your responses in the chat. Sanjana, I don't think that logic is completely correct. Think about it a little bit more. So what is the question? Create a function that takes an array. So what should be the boundary condition or the wrong input condition? The function has to take an array, right? If the function has to take an array compulsorily, then what are the boundary conditions and wrong input conditions? Tarun is saying wrong input is string. Then is number a correct input? Is Boolean a correct input? So only correct input is array, right? The only correct input that should be allowed is an array. Mobishir is saying boundary condition will be empty array. Correct. Boundary condition will be an empty array. If the array is empty, then I return maybe, let's say, 0. Or else I keep on doing some operation. What is the recursive logic, guys? We can pop out elements one by one. We don't need to pop out elements at all. We can just extract an element and call the subarray. Extract the element, maybe the first element, and call the rest of the array. Oh, okay, let's try to solve this. I will try to solve this step by step. We'll go here. So these two are my test cases. Ravi is saying boundary condition will be this, this. This is not a string, Ravi. This is an array. We cannot use the string. Uh, we cannot get the square brackets. They are just syntax. They are not available to us. But you are talking, I think you are thinking in terms of string. Hemant is saying we need to flatten the array. Not really. Like the purpose of recursion is then defeated. The reason this question is given as recursion is to check whether there is an array within an array. So that's the purpose of this question. So let's try to solve it. Okay. Let's create a function called SumArray, which actually takes an array as an input. And I will just return false. Run this piece of code. Yeah, both the test cases are wrong because first one is expecting 6, the second one is expecting 7. Now let's try to solve it. So one of the boundary conditions is if type of, you can call it input instead of array. If type of input is not equal to object, so for checking whether something is an array or not, like how to check in JavaScript, how would you check if something is an array or not? If you put type of, let's say 1 2 3, it will actually return an object. So an array is an object in JavaScript. Then how do you check whether something is an array or not? Okay, getting no responses. Let's search on Google how to check if array or not. JavaScript. Maybe there is a helper method of some sort. So Deepak is saying is array. Okay. So there is something called is array. So that is available inside this array.isArray, and we have to pass the array as a parameter. Okay, maybe we can try this. We can check it by something. Let's maybe send a boolean there. It's returning false because I have to check whether it's not an array. True. So the negative test case is returning true. So we have done the wrong input check. Now we have to still do the boundary condition and the actual logic. So let's do the actual logic first. So the actual logic is pretty straightforward, I guess, but it input of 0 plus. So if you take a look at here at I can do input dot shift to get the first element, and input now becomes 2 comma 3, right? So maybe I can do that. Like, will this work? Input dot shift. I do need a boundary condition. If input dot length is equal to 0, return 0. Still returning false. So let's print this out. I think we have to do some assignment stuff here. It won't work directly. Okay. Or we can do slice here. We can, rather than doing shift, we can do input dot slice 1 comma till the end of array. Still returning false. I'm not calling the recursive function correctly. I am just doing the addition thing. That's one mistake. Okay, awesome. The second test case is true now. Did you guys notice that? Like, Sakshi, you need to stop drawing on the screen. So yeah, that's now what do I do to make the last test case pass? So the first test case is passing. There is no internal nested array. But in the second thing, there is an internal nested array. So what should be the logic for that? So I check the wrong input condition, I check the boundary condition, but something is still not fully correct. How to check whether the internal array is, so we are really talking about this case, the nested array 2 comma 1. Okay, Hemant is saying one more if condition. That's correct. But for which particular thing? Which particular part should I put one more if condition? So, so I have to check this basically, this input 0, the first element. If the first element is an array, then I call recursion again, or else I call addition directly. Does it make sense? Right. So if the first element is an array itself, we need to do this entire operation all over again. If the first element is not an array, we can directly pick the number and do it. So let's do that. Let's check if array dot is array, which is how we checked for array earlier. If the first element is an array, then return all right. So let's now run it. Let's see whether it fulfills the last test case. It does. The last test case is also running properly. So you guys might have noticed I did not write any else here. It's not needed because all of the previous statements are returning something. So if the first element was an array, it will just return some array input 0, some array input slice 1 comma. So I need not write an else here, but you can write an else that would also be perfectly correct. So the recursive logic itself was very easy. First element plus recursively call the rest of the array. But we had to be careful about the boundary condition. We also had to be careful since there was nesting in this question. So we needed to take care of that also. Is this clear, guys? Should I move to the next question? If this is clear, you can write your responses in the chat. Okay, one thing you might have noticed, I did not start with the complete logic. I built it piece by piece. I wrote a little bit of code, ran the code, found out if there were mistakes or not, fixed that mistake, then moved to the next piece of code. Not all of my test cases were passing in the first shot. And that's how you actually do work. Like every time, if you put a standard like all of the test cases has to be passed in one shot, if that is your standard, then often at times it will not happen. And you will write a lot of code and then you will not be able to debug where it went wrong. If you write small pieces of code, then you will be able to easily debug like what went wrong. Okay. So let's try out one more question. I will save this in a different file. Okay. So let's look at this problem. I have to recursively find the number of vowels in this string. Very similar logic. Uh, what will be the recursive logic and what will be the boundary conditions in this case? We don't have an array here, we have a string here. Yeah, I will wait for some logic from you guys, pseudocode or logic. Guys, please write your responses in the chat. Take substring after checking each letter, update a counter. Fine. If substring empty, counter returns 0. Cool. Fine. So let me try to type this out. First, let me get the test cases in order. Okay, all the test cases are false, but our function structure is ready. Now let's start writing. So first thing I will check is for the wrong input condition. If type of input is not a string, then I will return wrong input. I haven't checked for it, so let me quickly write a test case. Okay, the negative test cases is working correctly. Only if it is a string, now it will process. Now, before I write the logic, I will also write the boundary condition, which is actually the last test case. If you look at it, this is the boundary test case. If the length of the string is 0, then should return 0. Did it go to infinite loop? No value is returning. Let's try to print it out. Either Replit is failing or my computer is. Let me run it one more time. Someone is saying copy everything and reload page. Okay, let's do that. We'll comment out all the positive test cases. Yeah, both the test cases are passing. I think somehow it did not update. Okay, so the boundary test case is also working correctly. The negative test cases are also working correctly. Now let's try the positive test cases, which should return false, at least now. Boundary 1b at the top. Yeah, apple 5 false. So now we have to write the recursive logic. So recursive logic, what we can do is we can check the first element, and if the first element is correct, or by correct I mean it's a vowel, we can add one, or else we can drop the first element and continue with the remaining of the string. So our focus is on the first element. Now that element can be something A, E, I, O, U, right? So how do we access the first element in the array? We can do this. We can also do dot char at 0. So any of these solutions will work. To check whether it lies that first character is A, E, I, O, U, we can use our array knowledge here that we picked up last week. A, E, I, O, U. So this is the array, and we can say dot includes, and we can say string char at 0. Yeah, it will return false. In case if it was A, E, I, O, U, anything of that sort, it would have returned true. Like for example, currently string is this. So if I reassign string to A23, now the first element is small a. Now this statement will actually return true. So if this statement returns true, then I add one. If this statement returns false, then I don't add anything. I just drop the first element and send the rest of the array. Okay. So I can maybe create a variable, or I can simply write an if condition here. There will be some repetition. Instead of string, it will be input. If the first element is a vowel, then it should return 1 plus input dot slice 1 comma end, else, I can drop the else, it's not needed. I can use this return statement itself. One comma, run it. I sliced it, but I did not, I forgot to call the function. I also made this mistake last time. Okay, now recursive call is happening. The first time when it is going, it is apple and the length is 5. Drop the P. In fact, to display it more clearly, I can have a, vowel counter here. I can say console.log vowel detected. I will also run the other two test cases which I had commented out. So now all the test cases will run. So now when I run it, Apple 5 vowel detected, which is A. PPL, nothing is detected. E1, now this time also vowel detected. Same thing with cheesecake, CH, nothing happens. E, it strikes E, vowel detected, another E, vowel detected. Goes forward, S is dropped, E, again vowel detected, and so on. So every time it hits a vowel, this if block runs, and if there is a consonant, then this return block works. Similar question to the first. The check in the first question was whether it's an array or not. And in this question is whether the first character belongs to a E, I, O, U or not. Straightforward. Guys, is this okay? Can we move ahead? Line 11 is not clear. Okay, if a vowel is detected, I need to increase the count by one, right? So let's say instead of this code, to make it even more clear, I say let count equal to 0. Okay. And I only return count plus, and I call this recursive function. I'm changing the logic a bit. Now let me run this code. Same result, but look at the difference. So this is my only line of code that I am returning. Return count plus the part of the string. So I can also show you what this looks like. Zero. I will remove the other console.log statements. Okay. And now look at this. Aditya, I will address your question in a bit. So Ravi, look at this. The first time the vowel is detected, and I'm going to annotate a little so that you can see it more clearly. So here vowel is detected. The first element is A and then PPLE. The next time no vowel is detected because P is not a vowel, then P is not a vowel, L is not a vowel, and lastly only E is left, and again vowel is detected. Every time the vowel is detected, we do a +1 as a counter. We do a count equal to 1. Otherwise, if there is no vowel, the count is 0. Is this clear now, Ravi? Is now the code more clear? Yeah. So that count we are adding here, in most cases it's 0, only when there is a vowel it's 1. And then we recursively call the rest of the array. Okay. Can we print count? No, we can't. I mean, the count can, yeah, we can do it here. But the count will either be 1 or 0. Right? Because in recursion, what happens is, okay, let me draw this call stack. Like if I draw the call stack, I think it will be clear for some of you. And I will draw it only for Apple, not for other problem cases. So we'll draw the call stack and see how this thing evolves. So first function on this call stack is count vowels, APPLE. All right. So this is the absolute first function on the call stack. This checks whether A is a vowel or not, and then calls the rest of the stuff. So this is holding 1 here, 1 plus, and then it calls count vowels PPLE. Next function on this stack. This checks for its vowel stuff and it's P, so it's basically 0, nothing here. And this guy calls PLE. This guy looks at its first element and says, okay, return 0 plus, and call this guy, let's call this guy, which is LE. This guy looks at its first element, it says return 0 plus E. This guy looks at it and says, no, E is a vowel, so returns 1 plus empty array. And we know in the empty array, the boundary condition 0 is returned. So it's 0 here. Now what happens? It returns 0, and then this is popped off the call stack. Now it returns 0. This was already holding count equal to 1. So this gets calculated and it returns 1 from the call stack, right? So this count 0 plus count vowels LE. So this actually now becomes 1. So 1 is passed below. Now what will happen? Again, this gets eliminated. 1 gets passed out of all this, like this gets computed at 1 and returned. Then this gets eliminated. All of this becomes 1 and 1 is returned. Again, when 1 is returned, this thing actually becomes, okay, this was already 1, and just to clarify this again, now we have 1 here which was holding as count and the 1 bit got returned, and finally these two become 2. So that's how we are arriving at the answer 2 for the case of Apple. So we are keeping the count a 1 and we are calling the rest of the string in recursion. So at any point of time, if we print count, it will always show 1 or 0. It won't show the complete value. For complete value, we have to do console.log again and again, see the complete value here. Like we anyways have to call the recursion to see the complete value. We cannot see before calling the recursion. So if I had to do it, like I could have created another variable here called result equal to count plus this. Return result, and I can print out count print this first. This is the final result. So yeah, in the result, we can see this number increasing 112, 1122, 334, 5555. So every time there is a vowel, the result will increment. All right, so I'm moving to another question today. We will solve one more question before calling it a day for today. Clearing all drawings. Okay, so guys, look at this question. By now, you guys are very, very familiar with recursion. We have to check for the largest even number. What should be the logic? Yeah, guys, please write pseudocode logic, need not be fully correct. Write whatever you are thinking on the chat. Like what could be the logic? You can write any part of it, wrong input conditions, boundary conditions. If you are not able to get the full logic right, it's okay. Any part of the logic is fine. Someone is saying boundary condition is empty array. Check whether an element is even or not. Yeah, so we can do it like we did previous questions. Like we can check the first element and call rest of the array. And the greater of the two is the answer. So what do I mean by this is like, we can call it like this, like, uh, let's say the first element, we are concerned about the first element, right? So first element, let's pick it up, like we can say array 0, right? So if array 0 is divisible by 2, so this is the if condition, then we actually need to think about like return the greater of, like, if the reason I did first element is to make this code look easier. if the first element is a thing, if first element is greater than array dot slice, then return first element. It's bigger. I think this should be the logic. If the first element is greater than the other part of the array, then do this, or else like just recursively call the function again. So this should, I think, work. So let's try this approach out. Okay. Someone is saying array dot sort. Well, we can do it, but then we are defeating the purpose. That will make this whole problem a lot more easier. And it won't also help us like do this number, like even number thing by using the modulo operator. So we have to use the recursion, Priyadarsan. That was the mandate here. Like we are trying to use recursion today. Yes, we could have used for loop. Like that's a different solution. But today's discussion is on recursion. So we are sticking to that for this session. So guys, most of the problems you can get similar results using either recursion or for loop, like both of them will give you similar results. Let me create the test cases here for the recursion thing. Okay, the test cases are ready. We can do a wrong input test case and we can do a boundary test case quickly. Negative, let's put it wrong input case, where we call it largest even, pass a string. Let's have a boundary condition case. Okay, so far so good. Now we will code this up. We will focus on the positive test cases a bit later. Also the boundary condition a bit later. Just focus on the wrong input case first. So wrong input case is showing false. We'll refresh the page once. I think some part of the code is not. Okay, fine. We'll do a check. It is not an array. Wrong input case is working perfectly. Let's check for boundary condition. The boundary condition is also running properly. Now let's go to the test cases. So like we talked about, let's focus on the first element. If the first element is even, then we will do something, or else we don't even need to do anything. Like we can, the first element is even, then if first element greater than the largest elements of the rest of the array, 1 comma end, then return first element. We can call it this greater than equal to, else if it is smaller than that, then just return the. Okay, now I will write an else here. If the first element is not an even number, I will return -1. So look at the second test case here. In the second test case, if there are no even numbers, it returns -1. So in case my first element is not an even number, I have to then decide, okay, this may not be entirely correct. Let's run this first thing. I don't think this is correct. We have to take care of this case as well. We will take care of this later. Let's just run it first. And I will print all the arrays here. So make it a little bit clearer. Okay, the incoming array is 3, 7, 2, 1, 7, 9, 10, 13. The test case answer is false. Let's try to see what happened. This is in JavaScript, Ravi. So we did not write an else condition. So first let's write an else condition. If the first element is not an even number, it's an odd number. So this piece of code worked. It worked for the first test case where there was an even number. It worked for the last case where again there is an even number 0. Like 0 is treated as even number in programming, in maths. It did not work for this case, 1357. It should have returned -1. So in case all the numbers are odd, then it should return -1. So that's a case that we have to cover. We can cover it by setting a default, let's say result equal to -1, and that will also reduce the code a little bit. Uh, so so the first element, even we have now, I'm trying to create new variables so that I can return -1 properly. And I also want to reduce this code a bit. There is too many recursive calls happening. There are 3 recursive calls that happen. All of them are doing the same thing. So we can make this code a lot shorter and more correct. So I'm getting the result of sliced array. One thing I have to take care of, if there is only one element and that is odd, like if there is only, so I'm adding another boundary condition to this mix just to return -1. If there is a last element and that is an odd element, then I return -1. In all the other cases, I do this other juggling, shuffling around. So what I'm saying is if array dot length is equal to 1, That is the first thing. And the first element is not even. So I will add a not check here. If the first element is not even and the array dot length is 1, then I will return -1. This should work. Expected identifier, let result of sliced array. Not used it anywhere. Okay, thanks Sanjana for pointing it out. Mistake in line 12. Cool, so let me remove this console.log. If I run it, all test cases are working correctly. I'm still not completely happy with this code because I'm calling this largest even array.slice like multiple times. So instead, what I will do is I will try to call it only once and then refactor this code to as short as possible. So now I have result of sliced array here. Okay, the code is still working. If the first element is even and the first element is greater than the result of sliced array, return first element, else return the result of sliced array. Is there a way to shorten it? If the first element is even and the first element is greater, then return first element, or else in all other cases, call the recursion. Will this work? Yes, this works. So this is slightly improved. Can we improve this further, this logic? Don't think so, but try it if you can reduce this logic, the complexity of this logic. So just to revise again, the first was the wrong input condition. Then this is a boundary condition that was very visible, like if the array dot length is 0, just return 0. Then we came up with this other boundary condition, which was not as apparent. It was there in the test case too, that if there is no even elements, then it should return -1. So we had to check it only for when the size of the array is 1. If it's the last element and it is odd, then return -1. If there are no uh, even elements, this line 18 will never be executed. So the reason this line 14 works, if our array does not encounter a single even element, this will never be executed, this line 18, and we will always be in recursion. So just to demonstrate, I will only take one test case, like which is the -1 test case, and we will print that out. So element replaces the return value because only regards the return value. If I run this code with only the test case where it is 1357, we only regard the return value. The element never replaces the return value because this is the positive check. On the other hand, if I take the first test case, where there are a lot of even elements, do this. Element replaces the return value. Okay, I'm not very happy with this result. Let me print this also. Okay, because I'm calling the recursion first, so this is not printing in order because the recursion is called at line 16 and the print is happening in line 18, 22. But I hope you get the idea. Like at least some element is replacing the return value in our case here, which does not happen in the other test case. Cool. So we'll stop here.